Hey, welcome back, Rankers. You having a good 2015? We are. Just cast your eyes on this for a second. I'm going to talk about this, and what we're looking at here is, well, not that bit, that's a private conversation, but this bit. So this is Google Real-Time Analytics, and it's for one of our clients who had an article on the news last Friday night on Channel 9 News. And this was a screen recording as the story went live. So these are people actually on the site during the news item, and then the URL gets mentioned, and bang. A couple of interesting things to note here is, look at the mobile. The mobile level is green. So this is, you might say, oh, it's only 100 people on the site. Yeah, that's not a lot. That's actually quite a lot at any one time for a site that's not ready for that sort of traffic. These guys, RealAs, which is a real estate app that basically predicts real estate property prices within a 5% margin. So it really, real estate agents hate it, right? Because they always underquote. Look at those numbers, right? This is during the story as it's going live on Channel 9. So this traffic equated to about, I think it was about 15,000 nationally over a couple of days. Now, if you do television advertising, you can look at those numbers. It kind of peaked out at about 350, I think. And this is just a Melbourne audience. And there's Josh Rowe, who's the CEO of RealAs, and I talking about it at the time. And if you're doing television advertising, then you should be looking at your real-time stats when your ads are going live. Or you should have someone looking at your real-time stats when your ads are going live, especially if you've got a call to action, because you can see what's happening here with mobile. We've got 50% mobile. That doesn't include tablet. Tablet's the blue bit. And I'm pointing at the screen again. I've got to stop doing that. So it just talks about, it talks to me that, or shows me, I should say, that behaviour for what people are watching on television and how they access your site is very different to, say, during something that they're not responding to on television if they're coming through search. Incidentally, of those 15,000, about half of them came through search, searching the brand, and a bunch were searching for things like smartphone app that predicts property prices, because that's what this app does. So some extraordinary items in Josh's blog on the site as well, where they're giving real-time examples of real estate agents that have quoted, $600,000 for a property and it sells for $900,000. Maybe not that extreme, but close, and things like that. And that's what the app does. It's quite extraordinary. But the thing is that this site actually has a lot of duplicate content, and which brings me back to a post that I did just before Christmas last year, talking about Pro Blogger and their site being duplicated, and RealAs essentially has lots and lots and lots of duplicate content from other sites. Now, these are properties that are on sale, so of course there's multiple sites out there that will have the same information. Where RealAs is starting to distinguish themselves, and obviously we've got a lot more work to do, but one of the things that RealAs is doing is creating unique content at a blog level, and also creating unique content around those addresses for the price that they're predicting the property to sell for, as opposed to what the real estate agent is quoting the property to sell for. And that's really important. I'll give you, and no pun intended, so there's what we call internal duplication, which typically happens with sites that don't have great canonical tagging, or the ability to tell the Google bot not to go into those areas where bits and pieces of content are duplicated. And I said duplicated again. And the other area of duplication is external duplication, where you might have a catalogue of items that, and this happens a lot in the costumes area. You might know if you've ever gone and had a look at costume sites, they all seem to have the same photographs. What you need to do in that situation, if you are sharing the same catalogue because you're getting from the same distributor or the same manufacturer as a competitor, you need to add some unique content on your site as a point of value. The third type of duplication, which is also external duplication, is people who just steal your stuff. So, for instance, when I publish the blog post, not so much the video, but when I publish the blog post that accompanies the video, it gets stolen straight away by at least 3 or 4 sites that just come in and scrape it because we're an SEO company, so they scrape our stuff. One of the ways, which isn't a big deal, it's not a big deal if Google finds our stuff first. If Google doesn't find our stuff first, it could be a problem. And I'll give you a case in point of that. Is we had this client, and you can see here, you know, they're trundling along at, you know, high 90s for a particular phrase. We started, they were just, you know, 200 and something when we started. And we got them up to the front page, that's this area here, and they're, you know, going along nicely. And then they just went ka-thump overnight. This is why I say to you, you know, even if you're not using SEO company, even if you're just doing things yourself, and a lot of the stories that I did last year, you need to know where you rank for important key phrases because they are a barometer check, if you like, of the health of your site as far as Google is concerned. When we see a drop like that, that sets off internal alarm bells here, and we implement a thing called first aid. So every day we check the rankings of all our clients, and some of them have, you know, 200 phrases that we're tracking, or 300 phrases in some cases. And we go in and we check. And when we see a drop like that, that basically is a trigger for an implementation of a process that we call first aid. And first aid is a series of processes or tasks where we go through and have a look at known things that can affect that sort of drop. Because you went from top 10 to back, you know, sort of 100 position. So that's significant. That's a significant drop. Even if you went, say, drop from page 2 to from page 1 to the bottom of page 2, there I'd be a bit concerned about that as well, and we'd do a first aid check on that. What we found was that someone had stolen our client's content. So it's a different sort of duplication in that there is someone, you know, stealing your content. So to detect that, we've got a series of tasks which I won't go into now, but to detect that, it came out in one of the tasks. And we're doing that actually in a webinar next Thursday, the 22nd of January at 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, or summertime I should say, for you Queenslanders, you know who you are. And it's about duplication and large e-commerce sites, and even if not e-commerce site. If you suspect that someone is stealing your stuff and you want to know how to stop it, or you don't care about, you shouldn't actually really care if they're stealing your stuff, as long as you rank higher than them for it. There's a series of ways to, number one, detect that, and then number two, report it to Google, and this is all done through a series of forms with Google and Google Webmaster Tools, which I'll show you next week. But as soon as Google basically gave us the all clear, saying, hey, thanks for that, we've worked out, and incidentally, in this case, the competitor who was stealing our client's stuff basically was ranking higher than our client for the search that we did, which is a sure indication that you're in trouble, and that's why you've dropped. And this is one phrase that we're tracking, but it wasn't that phrase that we Googled to work out who was stealing our stuff. There's another technique around it, which we'll go through in the webinar. And incidentally, our team leader of our digital business analysts, Vandy Kumar, and she hasn't heard any of the Kumar jokes, so she loves those, so do those. She'll be doing the webinar with me and giving us some case studies and taking us through the forms and those sorts of things. But as soon as that was fixed, and Google told us it was fixed, the following day, bang, back up to number 10. And so that wasn't anything that the client did wrong. So quite often when you see a drop like that, it's something that the client's done wrong, that they've switched something on, they've changed something, they've updated a catalog, or something's duplicated. Not in that situation. Someone was actually stealing your content. So if you want to find out more about how to combat that duplication of content, then make sure you hit us up for the webinar Thursday, 22nd of January, Australian Eastern Summertime at 11 a.m. And if you want to be on that, just email jim@stuartmedia.com.au saying, I want in on the webinar, and we'll make sure you are. And that's it for this week. We'll see you next week. Thanks very much. Bye.